we're gonna jump into some Mortal Kombat. Now, how did you feel?
You know what? So first of all, I would like to say that Mortal Kombat was a movie that I watched as a kid. I was born in 86. So I would have been 9 when this movie technically came out. But me
Hmm.
and my cousins used to watch this movie all the time. And when I mean all the time, I mean every day, all the time. And we used to play the games all the time.
Yeah.
Um the game Midway is actually in Chicago. So the game, or is developed in Chicago. And
Wow, did not know
we,
that.
yes, we constantly played these. I mean, watch this movie, and so that dun, 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 took me all the way back
Yeah.
immediately. Mortal Kombat, the soundtrack took
Did
me
you
all the way
know?
back.
Did you know that that wasn't originally supposed to be there? Like they added that, like the techno stuff,
Yes,
like last minute, and I'm like, it was
people
crazy
still
because
sing and people dance to that in techno clubs.
you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, whoever did this was a genius, man. Because okay, so I was 10 at the time when this came out,
Yeah,
but I'll never forget it. I was at my aunt's house, and she had direct TV. And so you know how you looked at those little 5 minute previews before the screen turned black. And I used to
yeah.
beg my aunt, say, "Hey, can I watch this? Can you order this for me? It's only $3.99. Can I get this, please?" And so I used to watch it like you all the time, every day,
Mhm.
because the music and the fight sequences and everything else. Even as a kid, Mortal Kombat, the Mortal Kombat 2 was like my favorite, but just playing that through and through and through and through and through.
Yeah.
So when like you, I watched it again this morning, and the memories kind of like it came back
Mm.
like
Yep.
immediately.
Yeah.
Um, so I know with these core three individuals, I heard that Michael J. White was originally supposed to be Jax.
What?
Yeah, but that didn't go through. And there's some other tidbits that I know
He
too
was
about.
around?
Yeah, but think about, okay, this was what, 93? Spawn came out in what, 95, 96? It was the 90s.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
he
That's
was
true.
still there. Um Now also Robin Show. My boy Robin Show. Now, you sound like
Yeah.
you was about to say something. What you got? What you got? What you about to say something?
No, I was just thinking about one. This man here, I had an absolute crush on when I was a kid because I didn't realize that. Well, first of all, I didn't realize how attracted I was to Asian men. Because as a kid, you don't really think about these types. You don't really think about these types of things. But as a kid, I was like, okay, what we got going on here? And I remember because when I was little, I used to watch Golden Child,
Mm-hmm.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Mm-hmm.
So Buddy in Big Trouble in Little China, can't remember his name. I used to be attracted to him and this man. I used to think, oh my God. And Jackie Chan and
Jet Li.
no, not Jet Li. Jackie Chan in what's the one? Not Bronx. Rumble in the Bronx. Oh my God.
Yo, that's my
They
jam right there, yo. Yay. That's my shit
Rumble.
right there.
I love Rumble in the Bronx. Got some of the dopest fight scenes to me.
Absolutely.
um, Oh my God. But this dude, and I will say this just real quick. I will say these fight scenes weren't really hitting the way they used to when I was a kid. This is also the problem when you start watching
Yeah.
stuff as an adult.
Yeah.
Because
See?
you're like, because even Johnny Cage, I was like, I remember thinking he was a lot cooler as a kid. He kind of felt like Tom Cruise back then. He wasn't
Mm-hmm.
really giving. And neither was him. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like he was as a kid, he was given like Rumble in the Bronx in my head. And for some reason, as an adult, I was just like, oh, oh. But like, don't get me wrong. Like, I still enjoyed the movie. Like, I still very much so enjoy the movie, but I
Yeah.
enjoyed it for totally different reasons. It wasn't because of the fight scenes. I just enjoyed it because I thought it was entertaining. It wasn't because of like the acting or anything like that. Like, I had to take that. I had to take that 2025 lens off because
Hmm.
sometimes when you watch movies from back in the day, you can sometimes be jaded by how bad things look or how
Yeah.
like, oh,
But
wow.
I will say
But it's
though, I will say
1995.
it's right for 95. The graphics was good. Like this, like for me,
Oh, look at that cinematography. Look at that.
right. I'll man, listen. When
Look at that.
I
Look at that
actually paused
framing.
it, I paused it right there, and I was like, "Dang, that's some fine ass cinematography right there. That was some good smoke and mirrors stuff right there." But
Is
that's
that
probably like
Sub-Zero?
it is. It is Sub Zero.
Look at that stance. That's framing. Like, I mean, and that's the thing, like that type of stuff took me back. That took me back. Because more importantly, remember when we were kids and like you I, the previews when you
Hmm.
would watch VHS tapes. I remember the Mortal Kombat preview almost more than I remember the movie.
Hmm.
So as the movie was playing, I was
Uh-huh.
like, "Oh, right. Yeah, 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 because that was in the trailer. Remember this from the trailer. I remember this from the trailer." But that was what and then it was the music, because I remember the music so vividly. But yes, these, um that screenshot right there, like, there were a lot of really cool elements of the film that I really did appreciate that I don't think I would have appreciated as a kid at all because I love the game so much. Because I did really
Yeah.
like the game. I thought the game was really cool, and I think as a kid too, I was always waiting for Sub-Zero and Scorpion because they were, to me, the
Yeah.
coolest characters in the game,
They were.
honestly.
They were.
Raiden
They were.
was dope, but he just kinda popped in and out to me.
So I think with me, like growing up as a kid, Sub Zero was kind of like my go to, and then as I got older, Scorpion was like my number one.
Yeah.
He was like my
"Get
top one.
over here." Like,
You know what I
who
mean?
didn't
And
like
so
that?
when they walked in together on the boat, like with Shang Tsung, I was like they shouldn't be aligned with him. But but still yet though,
Yeah.
I'm still locked in here. And then you know how Shang Tsung like narrated like, yeah, the greatest of enemies, but slaves under my power. That that kind of thing. So I'm like,
Yes.
and I did gather that. And what about her? Like Sonya Blade. Because
Um,
I got a little known thing about her. She wasn't the original person.
who was the original person?
Cameron Diaz.
This was this was after Mask, huh?
Yes, it was. She was actually, I think she was doing scenes. Matter of fact, because I got like 10 things you didn't know about Mortal Kombat.
Mm,
So
mhm.
one of the things was let me see that share screen real quick. Do do do. So it said that Bridget Sampras had read an audition for this. And let me see. We'll see if I can find it. Oh, there it goes. And has written an audition for the role of Sonya Blade, but the long casting process has led her to taking the role in Billy Madison instead. So Cameron Diaz, after her role in The Mask, like you said, was cast as Sonya instead, but injured herself during training for the film. She hurt her wrist. So
Oh.
yeah, so that's what happened.
Mm, honestly, Cameron Diaz. Now, having because I liked Cameron Diaz physically in The Mask. Not a strong performer yet to me. Even though I do understand she was supposed to have the damsel vibe, like she was supposed to kind of be like almost like the aloof bimbo, you know,
Mhm.
in Mask. Almost like and we know this from film noir, right? Like almost like the damsel in distress. She's supposed to
Yeah,
have like almost like the, oh my God, I need help. You know, she was supposed
yeah,
to kind of play that character in The Mask. But I think in The Mask, she almost felt like she couldn't act to me in The Mask, even though I did like the dancing part. And she looked good in that
yeah.
movie. I cannot imagine her in this movie. And maybe because I would not have had an opportunity to see her, fight
Hmm.
like that. I don't know. Like, did she fight in The Mask?
No, she didn't fight like that. She was
She
she was
was
definitely
being
down to the stress. Yeah,
yeah.
she was
Mhm.
definitely down to the stress. But
Yeah.
I do feel like this fight between Sonya and Kano was too short.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
I feel like they should have expanded on that a lot because when the opening scene where Sonya is like going through the club with Jax and she was like, "Listen, I only trust one person, that's and you talking to her right now." And when she blew dude away with a shotgun and going after Kano, knowing and especially when Shang Tsung was like, "You killed a partner," I expect her to come after you, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I
But
expected that
also
fight to be
Shang
longer.
Tsung he also told him not to kill her and to humiliate her.
Yeah,
He told him that. And so I felt like this was for her to have been hunting him for so long. We could have had a real life like ooh ooh ah ooh moment, right? Like let's dance for a little bit. Like let's just
hmm,
dance for a little bit. Because so I'm agreeing with you. Like we could have just had one of those. Especially for him to eventually knock her over or knock her down to the ground and then just kick her in the stomach. Like, damn.
right,
He said don't hurt her. You ended up basically knocking her down to the ground and kicking her in the stomach anyway. Um, I kind of just felt like, yeah, it was weird. It was a weird moment, especially considering how much she was hunting him. I was
yeah,
like, oh, so she just gon' she just gonna kill him like that? Or
yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. And I don't want to make this political. I had a couple of problems with these fight scenes because
Talk
part of
to it.
me was
Speak
like,
on it.
I know it was 1995. Because first of all, um, when the brother dies in the beginning for the
Hmm.
first fight, and his soul gets sucked out. I was like, I don't know if he would have died that easy. Like part of me was like, he looked like he could have been fighting for a lot longer than that.
Right.
He looked way more fit than this kid, like this dude, you know?
Hmm.
And that's why I'm saying like these fight scenes felt so much weaker as an adult. Like they just they just felt weaker. And maybe because we in the era of John Wick and like, you know, I think that's the problem. Is like we're seeing this so differently. But and then two, like the second brother, I was like, wait a minute. So we don't get to watch his soul get sucked out. We get to
Uh,
watch the two
it's my
brothers'
Kano,
souls
right?
get sucked out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
What was up
yo.
with that?
So talking
Why
about all
we
right.
couldn't
Yeah,
visually see they soul get sucked out, but we see the two brothers' souls get sucked out. And you saw his soul get sucked out, and you saw his soul go right into his eyeball. What was all
right
that
into the
about? Why
eyeball.
we getting all the visual? Why we
Old
getting
boy
all that
turned.
visual?
Old boy turned blue. Like he was like blue on the sand. I was like, which funny enough, like him and another character was on a martial arts series called I think WMAC, like Martial Arts
Mhm.
Masters. I think it was on Fox. I think it was like a martial arts kids show. And that's where I
Oh,
recognized him at. The guy with the dreads, the one that fought Liu Kang first. And I was like, man, I know that dude
yeah.
from somewhere. And the way he was, like his mannerisms, because I called him the Jaguar. That's what I kind of say in my mind. Because the way he was growling, it kind of did that Jaguar noise whenever he kind
Yeah.
of like jumped at Liu Kang. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, he could be a playable character in the game if y'all let that ride.
Yeah, that's why
But
I was like, he is way too pop boop B. Like he was killing it. And the whole time I was like, okay, he dies. You show him dead and pale.
yeah.
Wow. Excuse me. Okay. So then It's like, I'm offended.
Yep.
So
Yep.
then, then we move on. I'm like, I bet. Okay, cool. Fatality. But then at the same time, like again, 1995, there was a period where all black characters died, right?
Yeah. For the
Black
most part.
characters
Like,
were the
all right.
first to go.
Yep. First of all, like, okay, my boy right here.
Oh, weak. What a weakling.
Nah, no, man. Lyndon Ashby is Johnny Cage. I feel like Johnny Cage somewhat carried the movie with his personality because, I mean, originally, okay, a little bit gaming trivia. They're supposed to
Yeah.
have Jean-Claude Van Damme as Johnny Cage in
Yeah.
the game.
But he did
I mean,
Street Fighter.
he did Street Fighter, which is ironic, but
Yeah.
and full of cocaine too. But
Because he ended up burning out his nose, right?
yeah, so
He ended up burning out the bridge of his nose. Wasn't that his story?
I think so. Yeah, it was crazy on set because I think Jean-Claude was coked up. He had an affair with the actress that played Cammy, and because she was like this pop star or whatever. But the person that carried that movie was Raul Julia because he took every bit of acting experience from theater to his previous movies because he wanted to do something for his children as his last movie before he passed away. And he took that thing to the house, like with Street Fighter.
Wow.
Like but Lyndon Ashby though, I do feel like him as Johnny Cage did carry the movie because I watched it again this morning, and I feel like he did have the best lines though.
He did. He had comic relief too. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was funny.
$500 glasses, you asshole. So it's like
all of his faux Louis Vuitton bags when he's like, trying to get out of the boat, and he's
that low key racism he used, and like he looked at Luke Cage like, "Hey man, can you carry my bags? I'm gonna pay you." He was like, "You want me to carry those? Cool, I got you." like
They let him walk up all them steps. He's like falling down the steps. He's like, "Do you need help with those?"
I'm like, "Oh man, that's a callback. That's a callback."
It's like, yeah, it is.
So for him, when Art died, so for him to the thing that kind of confused me a little bit was when Sonya yelled out no. I like, but you never interacted with Art at all in this movie. But Johnny Cage did. Maybe twice, but I feel like to make that death more impactful, you should have had Art with y'all as y'all were sneaking around the castle and y'all was listening to Goro and Shang Tsung, and then once that happened, once Art dies there, okay, that left a little bit more impact to that because we would have got a chance to Art just from the pier to the sneaking in and to dying, and then now you happy that Johnny Cage, whooped Goro's ass. But
and also I couldn't help but think this whole time y'all was sneaking around, like they can't tell y'all eavesdropping. So I mean, I know I'm supposed to be suspending my disbelief, but at the same time, I was like, isn't he supposed to be like a god in a way? Like he don't know that there's people in this room. There's 3 whole people in this room, like eavesdropping. Goro don't know. Shang Tsung don't know. Nobody knows that. I mean, I get what's the red-eyed dude's name?
Kano.
Kano. I get Kano don't know, but the other 2, like they don't know. Like nobody know. It wasn't until you all made a noise, like. Come on, come on.
But Shang Tsung is not a god. He's a sorcerer. So he's not
he's a sorcerer, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you heard that pebble, he was like, you
Yeah.
are not alone.
It's like, but you got the souls in you of every person that lost. Like, come on. Like, you can't hear?
Come on, man.
You ain't got no senses?
My boy right
That's
here.
my homie, though. That's the boy. I ain't gonna hold you. He give evil, that. I hate to say it. I hate the evil Asian archetype. The
Corey Haruyuki Tagawa, man, he's been evil since Action Jackson. Like
there was a time, I will say there was a time. I was watching this movie and it made me think of a time where while Asians had it very, very well, they had it very, very not so well. Because there was a period where they were just put into these not bad characters, but just like enemy characters. Because I was pissed that Lord Raiden was white, and I was only because isn't he supposed to be like a Shaolin monk
Yeah, yeah, he's supposed to be
technically?
Asian. Yeah, he's supposed to be Asian.
Um, and so, and like he's like the good guy, and Lord Raiden, and like this guy, and I'm like, why not just make them both Asian? And I know like historically, like these like kind of like characters, and don't get me wrong, like whatever, the man was working, he was working.
Yeah,
But I sometimes think about these things like going back to old films where I'm like, damn, there was a period where, these actors were always playing these types of characters. And don't get me wrong, there were a lot of films too. Like I mentioned Big Trouble in Little China, one of my favorite movies.
yep,
Oh my
yep,
God, I love Big Trouble in Little China, where there's the evil Asian character and there's the good Asian character. And then there's the white savior as well. So, you kind of got some balance. But at the
yeah,
same time, I just think of these types of characters. I'm like, damn, yeah, y'all did have y'all moment where y'all were running it. Like y'all were
yeah,
winning. Like there were a lot of great Asian actors that were working constantly. But unfortunately, a lot of them were locked into these typecasts, into these types of roles. And my memory of a lot of these actors are like this. Because I don't
yeah.
know him as anything else. Like, I don't even know if he's ever played anything happy.
Yes, he has. He
What did
has.
he play?
Now, I
What did
mean,
he play?
he was a bad guy, Action Jackson, like the only movie Carl Weathers actually did not die in. But
Yeah. Who
but
I also
he,
met because he used to be on Chicago Justice.
yo, wow, man, that's one person I really did want to meet, like before his
I
passing. 'Cause
know.
loved him as Apollo Creed. I wish
Yeah.
his Apollo Creed character like lived on, but
Yeah.
that shit
Yeah.
traumatized me. I'm like, damn,
I
I'm like, you
know.
had to get hit like
Yeah.
that. But so anyway, Nash Bridges, the series, he
Mhm.
was, I think, was the police chief or he was the boss or whatever. He was the
Okay.
good guy. He was the
Oh,
good guy,
good.
and you saw him like smile a lot or whatever. Because I've heard that he's a really nice dude, like
Yeah.
outside that name, but
That's good.
he just turns it on his head like when he's on screen. But he just plays a phenomenal bad guy. So
Most of the good, like, nice guys do, though.
yeah,
Most of the nice actors play the best villains. It is so crazy how you'll be like, "Oh, I thought oh, okay. Well, you're just good at being a douche. Fantastic. Good for you.
got
Kudos."
got to get that evil out somehow. Just put it on camera. Put it on camera. Now that I got it out my system, I'm gonna flush this out. I'm gonna go paint sunshine and rainbows over here. And
Exactly. They be channeling people they know too. That's the sad part, though. They be, like, channeling their fathers and stuff. You be like, "Oh, okay." That's when
yeah,
it gets dark.
yeah,
Yeah.
very much
Yeah.
so. But speaking of dark,
Oh, this guy. Yeah.
yeah,
Um
like Trevor Goddard.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
he did a good Kano.
Yeah.
Should have
Yeah.
lasted a lot
He
longer.
did. Yeah, he should've. It should've. It was cool. I liked it. I liked too that his eye was like a practical eye and they didn't try to like fake digitize it, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Or like so yeah, he was I mean, and I saw something too. There was something about his accent. Was his accent supposed to be
Like an
was his
Australian
accent
accent.
real? Yeah, was his accent supposed to be real?
Yeah, he did have like some sort of Australian accent, but you never heard his voice in the game, so you can actually do anything with that. You
Okay.
know, honestly, you
So
just
he
know
just took it and ran with it.
pretty much. So
Yeah.
I mean, but it actually stuck though because like now playing Mortal Kombat now, Kano has that type of accent. Like he
Oh,
talks, you know what I mean? So that actually stuck along the way. Matter of fact, Corey Hiroyuki, when they did Mortal Kombat 1, he is the voice of Shang Tsung. And yeah, so
Ah.
when it did like the Young Shang song, it has his facial features and his voice. So they
Oh,
actually
okay,
hard
that's
back.
cool.
Yeah, they actually hard back to 95. But boy, Scorpion, the best fight, one of the best
Ah.
fights in the game. Not in the game, in the movie.
Yeah. The close-up of I was like, "That's real brave for y'all to show the close-up of that hand." I respect that. That's when you like, "We confident in our CGI. We gonna show the close-up." When he showed the close-up of that hand opening and that bad boy popping out, I was like, no, that's right." They were like, "We worked hard,
Yeah,
okay? We
he
worked
did this.
hard. We did this." And when it opened up, it flew out and it hit that tree, I was like, "Look here, that is 1995 graphics."
I was impressed. I was impressed.
I was
Like as
very
a kid
impressed.
and now, I was like, this is
Yeah,
1995.
I really was. I was thoroughly impressed. I was like, "I know that's right." I actually think I clapped. I was like, "Kudos." Well, first of all, he was one of my favorite characters.
Hmm.
I thought it was also dope that, because of budget, as far as the game, they just took the outfits of these guys. They just basically changed the color of the template.
Yeah,
They were like, "We just gonna make these two characters. Like, just gonna make these two characters." That's like Smoke and Stack. That's like if you have Smoke and Stack, you're like, "You know what? We just gonna make one red, one blue. Why not? Cause
yeah,
budget. Why not?" But that is like that's just like dope. That's cool when something cool comes out of necessity. You
yeah.
know?
Absolutely,
I,
absolutely.
I love that
And
for them.
the other cool thing about it is Robin Show did the majority of his stunts in Mortal Kombat because
Mm,
he's a known martial artist. And for what I understood, he choreographed this fight between Scorpion and Johnny Cage.
what?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
dope.
That he had some
That's
hand
dope.
in that. So
I love this scene.
yeah, they're like with the trees lining up the way it is. And I was like, man, how did y'all do that? But this movie magic, I did like that. And
Yeah. What
because you
was this
can't
the location? Did they find this location or did they I
that's
mean,
that's a good question. That is a good question. Matter of fact,
because
I'm
it
gonna
depends
look it up.
on where they filmed. Because if they found that location, I mean, there are some forests that are like that. So in Asia, at least, I don't know where they filmed this.
Oh, like with the trees lined up. So
Unless
it
unless it's a backdrop, it could be a backdrop, a
it was in
backing.
Thailand. It's like Phra Nang Beach. There's Rayleigh Bay, Ayutthaya, and Wat Phra Si Sanfet. So those were
Okay.
yeah. So all of that was in all that was in Thailand. So yeah. So that forestry is somewhere over there.
See,
So
that look at that. That was real. I mean, it does not look fake. I mean, and if it was fake in 95, we would be able to tell. I mean,
yeah.
you can even tell by the lighting that is real. I also love just how he looks in this still, his eyes, the mask, everything.
Yo, the eyes. You had to nail
It's
the
a
eyes because it was like all white. He did not have pupils.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
and there were another brave feat. They actually did a close up on his eyes and him squinting, like
Yes.
whenever he like lost his spirit. You're like,
Yes.
I
Yes.
was like,
Yes.
okay, okay.
Kudos. Kudos.
Shout out
I
to
mean, and
him.
I will say I was yesterday years old when I found out that the director did Resident Evil.
Yeah, yeah. I was
Had
like,
no idea. Because first of all, his name's Paul, I think Paul W.S. Anderson or something. And
mm-hmm.
while I have seen some of the Resident Evil movies, the Paul Anderson confused me because I think of Paul Thomas Anderson, first of
Yeah,
all. But I don't think I've ever actually looked up who directed Resident Evil. It just never it's not the type of film that I think it would have even crossed my mind. And so when we decided to do this one, I was like, "Who directed this?" And then
yeah,
I looked up the rest of his work and I was like, "Wait a minute. He's still working?" And like he's got
yeah.
something I think he's got something coming out this year too. 2025, either it's coming out or it came out. But
I,
I
I
was
don't
like, "Well, good for
know
him."
if it's Mila Jovovich. If my thing is, if Mila Jovovich is in the movie, there's a possibility that Paul Anderson is directing the movie because they were
Ah,
dating at the point. I don't know they're married now, but I'm not
mhm,
sure. But she
got
was
it.
part of that Resident Evil franchise, but
Mhm.
Alice was never in the games. So the side characters that lived were the characters in the game. You know, it was like, all right.
Got it. And I was too scary to play Resident Evil. I can't do stuff jumping out in my face. Not my thing.
What?
I was a GTA girl all day. Like
Mm,
I could play GTA until I'm blue in the face. But when it comes to zombies and like shooting zombies, yeah, nah, I'm good on that. And I ain't even scary. Like I love horror movies, but when it come to like games like that, my blood
yeah.
pressure spikes. I get
Wow.
nervous. Nope, I don't want to
That
play
is
it no
crazy.
more.
You know what's funny?
Mm-mm.
So Christopher Lambert as Raiden. I wasn't
Yeah.
mad at this based off of what I learned about what he was doing behind the scenes. So for what I
Yeah.
read is that many of the stars was far less experienced than him. Obviously, he had experience with Highlander and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. So since he was the most experienced actor on set, they could only afford to bring him in for a few weeks while they was doing close-up shots on stage in LA. So he thought the
Mhm.
film would be better if he was there all the time instead and standing. So he traveled to Thailand for free, a charge,
Mhm. Yeah.
and it helped everybody else out along the way. And
That's beautiful.
Sean Connery was supposed to be Raiden.
Weird.
Yes, he was
Could you imagine
originally.
that accent as Raiden?
Yes, how you are.
Sean
I don't.
Connery.
I don't think so. I like no,
No.
no. We can't.
No.
We can't do that. We can't do that.
No. Nah, we can't do that. Nah, we can't do that. I think I also saw somewhere too that he like paid for their rap party, which is dope.
I believe
You
that.
know,
And
sometimes you can get some cast members to pay for your rap party, which is always a kind gesture.
yep. Yeah. So for what I understood, that Sean Connery was originally eyed, but he didn't want the physical part of the role at the point of his career. The other person that was considered, I'm going to take like two guesses. I
Who?
guarantee you won't get it.
Wait, in this role?
Yep. There was one more person that was considered.
All right, you're gonna have to give me a clue because there's a lot of white male actors here.
He ain't white.
Oh, oh, black?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Not Denzel.
Nah. No. Can you imagine Denzel? Oh my god! Can you imagine Denzel as rated? No, 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 no.
So
I
they
don't think
cannot
so.
afford this. I don't even
No.
think. Well, Denzel would have been. Well, would have just did Malcolm, right?
Yeah, yeah. He would have been.
Um,
He would have been
Itch.
affordable.
He would have been affordable-ish. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait. Okay. Black, huh?
black. Your face is. Hold on, I gotta get a close up of this, man. Because once I tell you, you're gonna be like,
Okay. Wait. One more clue.
okay, I'm too old for this shit.
You lying?
I ain't.
Danny Glover?
Yes. Yes, your face. Your face.
In that wig?
Yeah, they say Danny Glover was also considered before they went with Christopher Lambert.
That is so strange.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could see Morgan Freeman.
You know what? I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad
I
at that.
could honestly see Samuel Jackson.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me close up right quick. Samuel Jackson for real?
He would have just finished Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
He would have just came off Pulp Fiction. He known for wearing shitty wigs.
This
I
is true.
mean,
This is true. This is true. This is true.
um, he don't care. He'll do it. Now, would he have been able? That guy didn't really have an accent, though.
Nah.
It would have been a nice little moment for him to play like a Shaolin monk. You know,
There've been a lot of motherfuckers.
poised,
There've been a lot of motherfuckers there.
poised, calm,
You are not
cool,
motherfucking ready
collected.
to fight Shang Tsung, you will motherfucking die.
Been a totally different movie, but
Yeah,
he would have handled those comedic moments.
he would. He would.
He would
He
have had
would.
them comedic moments. I think Sam Jackson would have pulled that off. I'm just saying.
Not kind of wish for that. Like I wish they just, you know what? Now I hope they did a parody. Like, you know what, Sam? Would you mind doing a parody of Mortal Kombat as you as Raiden? Like, just take those
Yeah,
lines and just do that. I just want to hear you
yeah.
just speak on that. That would have been,
I'm not anti. I'm not anti. I actually, I mean, if you think of him from Pulp Fiction, and even if
yeah.
we think of a movie that he's been in recently where I mean, and maybe I'm thinking of more so Lawrence Fishburne style of poise from Matrix,
Okay.
just calm. But if you think of a direction like
Uh-huh.
Morpheus, I could see Samuel Jackson. I don't think we've ever seen Samuel Jackson like that, have
No, I don't think we ever have. Damn, that's crazy. And you know what's funny? I think I saw something on TikTok where he was speaking on another actor told him, like a older than him, like, once you find your spot, like you solidify that spot. That way you don't ever fizzle out because actors
we? Mhm.
have a height and then they go down, and then there's a part of you that main stays. So obviously he's staying because his
Yeah,
relationship with Quentin Tarantino. Oh, and then
yeah.
look, you locked in Nick Fury, so eh, you done.
I mean, and
You
and he also, remember he was in The Incredibles randomly. He's been all over the place. Like Samuel Jackson is good forever. I think he's got relationships for a lifetime at this point, like
yeah,
with all different types of directors and producers. I think he's good.
shit like
Good.
that Amazon Echo I got in my kitchen. Sometimes I let it talk to Samuel Jackson. Like, hey, give me the recipes. Talk to Samuel Jackson. And he'll do it. Like he'll speak in his he'll speak in his
How
voice.
you make them pancakes?
How you make pancakes? First off, you get buttermilk. Pancakes. I was like, yeah, the
Oh, that's right.
flexes. The
It's like
flexes.
I didn't know I needed to be told this like this, but I like it.
Right. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean,
love me
obviously,
some Sam Jackson.
Sam Jackson's a phenomenal actor, man.
He
So
is.
Reptile, like, this is honestly
Mm.
this the first. I put this the best fight in the movie.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Yeah, but there is something I did feel was missing from this costume. Maybe like even just looking at this picture, because I'm like, his eyes feel innocent.
Yeah, yeah, like a
I'm
like a
like, we needed something. Maybe we needed some contacts. I don't know. We needed something because he just looks precious. Like he don't look like
say look precious. Wait a minute, hold on, precious.
Huh?
Reptile, precious.
like it's not really giving danger to me right now. Like the eyebrows are just like Puerto Rican, like like I'm getting like but yeah, like no, this was a good fight. This was a good fight.
The mask is
I
different though.
Yeah, the mask is dope. The
Yeah,
mask add character to the costume for sure. But there is
mhm.
something just like above the cheeks that threw me off the entire time. I was like, hmm.
But
But
remember
see,
now.
this is also I will tell you, this is the problem when you work in production. I would just like to say this, is that
Mhm.
sometimes that will take you out of the movie. Is that you would be focusing on the wrong shit. You be like,
But
I'm trying to
but you
watch
got a
the
good
movie,
eye
but
for
I'm
it though.
distracted.
You got a good eye for it though, because now remember in the first Mortal Kombat game, Reptile was a secret character under the pit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like how they did it here because Reptile was in essence a secret character because like how Liu Kang finally found him. Because all those other times throughout the movie, Reptile was able to sneak up on him because he was camouflaging himself. And then when they turned into an actual
Mm,
ninja, it's like, oh, and then they did the reptile. And I was like, oh, yeah, all right, I like that. I
yeah.
appreciate that. That's probably my
Yeah.
favorite scene in the movie, though. That little
Yeah.
secret. secret character thing. But another person is Talicia Soto, Katana.
Katana. Yeah. 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 Yeah, it was cool. You know, they always got to throw in a love interest. Um,
Yeah.
she kept reminding me of that chick from Golden Child. I kept thinking about I kept thinking about Golden Child every time she came up. Uh yeah, I mean, yeah, I really didn't think much about her at all actually while I was watching that movie. But yeah, she was a fun little addition to the film. She's pretty. She's super pretty. Um
Mm-hmm.
and I liked I liked I know that it's necessary to kind of like, add that element to it because it kind of drives the story along. It gives the character something to kind of look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, do we need this? But at the same time, I was just like, okay, whatever. Um, but sure, fine, I'll take it. That's that. I don't know. I was just kind of like, it is what it is. But I didn't. I
I
don't
will
know. I don't
say
have an opinion
that
about it.
even though they had like smaller roles in this movie,
Yeah.
the women pretty much saved the day on this. Because
Yeah.
Katana, if it weren't for Katana, Liu Kang wouldn't have beat Sub-Zero. Because
True.
he wouldn't have figured out how the element that gives life. He's like, oh, water. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
that's
figured
true.
that out right up on Front Street. Even back then, seeing that the element gives life. Like, you
Yeah,
mean
that's
water?
true. That is true.
And like with Sonya, Sonya doing what she's doing as a strong female character, and she handling her demons without also getting help because she killed Kano without any assistance whatsoever.
Sure. Absolutely.
So, and she was also
Absolutely.
the driving force because she did not accept the challenge because that's the only way Final Combat can actually be taking place. And she was smart enough
Yes.
to know, nah, I know what you're trying to do. I don't want it.
Yeah.
I just wait till the homies step in. You
Yep.
know,
Yep. That's true. That's
just
100% true.
just train me up. I can see him look attractive. Oh look, it's Liu Kang here. You're gonna get your ass
Oh,
up.
fantastic.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
So
Very true. Very true. She's like, I served my purpose.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I killed who I needed to kill. You do what you need to do. But
I'll just
my
be
work is
him,
done.
be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
If
No,
if
no.
if if I had to change this movie though, I would make Kano being part of the fight of the final scene. Like Sonya
Yes.
fight Kano over here, and
Mhm.
Shang Tsung and Liu Kang fighting over here. And okay, you want to. I mean, Johnny did what he needed to do. He already took out Goro, so it's like,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, we didn't really talk about Goro. I mean, I think it's dope. Goro was cool too because that character is complex. That was a practical character. That was not CGI. That was a puppet. That was a
13 puppeteers. I read 13,
yes.
and they said it was
13
hell.
puppeteers. 20 motors
Yeah,
inside.
yeah,
We talking about a big old character, I mean, a big old puppet that is and it was cool to look at. Even today, it was cool to look at.
yeah.
Um, and I remember even seeing that character in the game, being like, "This is such a cool character." Like it's so waiting for it to fight. I think that was the thing too. Like I was just like, "Oh, I can't wait to see what it does. Like, what does it do?" So yeah, I think it's like, what does Goro do? Yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't, you know, he immediately, huh? Hold on one second. In the pantry. I think that's the thing. Like immediately he does that thing. Oh, and the groin punch, which apparently was improvised.
That was improvised. I thought it was part of the movie. I'm like,
Yes. It
I'm
was
like,
improvised during filming. It was improvised.
so the split punch was not originally part of the script.
Mhm.
Okay, clearly Linda Ashby was a student of the game because there's no other way. because it's like you can't have Johnny Cage without the split punch. Like you cannot
I
do
mean
that.
I mean, the fact that and I'm talking about the groin punch when Goro
Oh,
gets,
that's what I mean. Like the split punch,
yeah,
because Johnny used
yeah,
to do that. He used to hit you in between the legs. But when the
yes,
female,
yeah,
he
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like fold his hands like that because you know.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. But the fact that they were like, I mean, and I just think that that type of stuff, like with practical work, is so cool. That's what, like, even today, that's what made Christopher Nolan so dope was that he wanted to do everything practically because everybody wants to do everything with CGI. You know,
Yeah,
everybody wants to do everything. Oh, okay, we'll fix it in post. It's like, okay, yeah, you could fix it in post, but it's kind of dope, more dope when you just do it, you know? I mean, isn't that what you pay all these people an hourly rate for?
yeah,
It's for them to
exactly.
do it in real life. I mean, and that's also the creative part of it too, is to actually do it in real life. So anyway, I think Goro was the fun part to me.
Yeah,
I like seeing.
and the fact that you wanted to see him because he was just sitting
Mhm.
on the throne and he was like, "Is it time? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
time. Cool. All right,
exactly.
my time to shine. I'm about to whoop ass right here."
Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah,
So my
kudos to
question
Mortal
is,
Kombat.
because you said this on when a live panel, you like every film has undertones.
Mhm.
So what would you say the undertones or the messaging would be when it comes to
Ooh,
Mortal Kombat? Mm,
I mean, that's hard because I mean, Mortal Kombat's hard because too is based on a game.
yeah.
Um, I will say this, like, well, I will say this, like my mom who who just came in a second ago, she was watching my dog. She she used to do the insurance for Midway. She used to do the underwriting for Midway games.
Wow.
Back in the day when they used to get all them damn lawsuits. Remember when everybody
Yes.
used to
More
sue them?
the
Um,
parents.
every parent used to sue them for all like she was in insurance before she was in film, and I think that what I used to always love about Mortal Kombat because you know how I feel about freedom. What I always loved about Mortal Kombat was the ability to make and I get it, it's gory. I get it. I get it. Should kids be playing stuff like this? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have kids, so I can't even speak on that. But at the same time, what I always thought was dope about those games was like the creativity, and this was a concept that these, I don't know what it was, like two guys just came up with and was like, we're going to incorporate these like Shaolin monks and, these gods and, this mythology around these characters. And we're going
Yeah.
to make it work and we're going to create these games behind it. And there's some cultural elements to it. And there's some social elements to it. There's going to be some American characters. There's going to be some characters from another world. And there's going to be, there's going to be Earth realm. There's going to be the metaphysical. And we're just going to put them all together and they're just going to fight each other.
Yeah.
Like, that's just it. I don't think it's more complex than that. Like even when I was watching a movie and I was like, oh, they're literally just fighting to save the Earth.
Yeah. You know.
That's it. And so to me, um is there any like deep undertones? I feel like when it's all said and done we could possibly all come together to save this place maybe, but I don't even know if they were thinking about it like that. I just think
Yeah.
that they were just trying to make something cool and it just worked out, and the makers of this film were just adapting off of what the original creators were doing. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
I don't I don't think it was more complex than that cuz I didn't even feel like that. I was honestly trying to cuz I was like what are we saying here? Like
Yeah.
where are the politics? I was looking at it from like an industry perspective when it comes to like the casting, when it came to like how which characters were dying and which ones were surviving and which ones were doing this and which ones, like I was looking at it from that element, but that's more of a production aspect. But when it came to the writing, I was like, I think this is pretty straightforward. You got
Yeah.
you got a metaphysical element, you got the earthly realm.
Mm-hmm.
We need to make sure that Earth survives. Fight for it. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's
Mhm.
pretty, yeah, that's pretty. I was just in the same boat because I was like, because I thought about what you said in the last live panel. I was like, okay, is every movie is like this? I mean, all right, what am I missing with this one?
Mhm.
And what I got out of that was, off my 15,000th time watching it, is you can't do it alone. You
Yeah.
can't do it alone. And I think that what Raiden was trying to teach everybody, it's like, listen, your problem is your ego. Your problem is
Yeah.
revenge. Your problem this and this and this and this. I looked into everybody's souls. They cool, but they ain't gonna make it. But if
Mhm.
y'all get y'all shit together, we can make it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got beaten 9 times straight. Y'all are the 10th. The life of
Yeah.
billions is in your
Yeah.
hands. Sorry. Like that little
Yeah.
line right there was just funny. Like,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Like no
Yeah.
pressure,
And it's
no
about
pressure.
yeah, and it's about character because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you know, uh Liu Kang was trying. Liu Kang. Am I saying that right? I'm tipsy.
Yeah, Liu Kang.
Liu Kang.
Yeah.
He was trying to avenge his brother. The situation that
Mm-hmm.
happened with his brother. And they all had their own reasons for what they were doing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, and I mean, and that's the thing. It was ultimately like you all are truly characters, but it
Yeah.
is ultimately about character. When you looked at the bad guys, we can see here
Yeah.
that these dudes are
Yeah.
messed up.
Yeah.
These are not the ones. This ain't the side you want to be on.
No, we don't want that.
So yeah. And I always think that's what's cool too about games too, is that it always forces you to kind of pick a side. But I know we briefly, I think I briefly talked about. Well, yeah, we did talk about this. Is how I always feel like it's dope when even when you're watching a really good film and you watch your
Yeah.
antagonist, you kind of like them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're like, there's always something about the Joker that you like, or there's
Yeah.
something about that character that you like, even though there is something that they are absolutely doing wrong. But I think those types of games or movies or whatever in popular culture forces people to pick a side. And
Yeah.
everybody knows which side is the good side at the end of the day. And the
Yeah.
movies make you pick a side because there has to be a side that wins in a movie. In a game, you could play both sides constantly,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, you could play all the characters in a game. In a movie, they won technically until that thing blew up that building and then,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
whole thing happens.
To Shao Kahn pull up, and you're like, hey, all right, enough of this
Exactly.
bullshit that went on back
You're like,
there.
it's like it
you know,
ain't it technically ain't about to be over, but
yeah. Then we get that
that in a
bullshit ass
movie
movie next. Yeah.
we ain't even gotta do that. But
Yeah.
I will say though, I think the one that came out, what was the one that came out in like 2021? I watched that one. Was it the one in 2021 or the one that
Yep.
came out relatively recently? I didn't hate
Yeah.
that. That was actually pretty good. Um, but yeah, like I feel like too with the movies kind of force you to pick a side because it ends
Yeah.
a particular way, and you're like, all right, bet. You know who the victor is.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think Mortal Kombat is a fantastic uh game. It was violent, sure,
Yeah.
sure. But I remember having those conversations back then with my mom, who never censored me or my sister at all. Um, and it was always about you need to teach your kids about this shit.
Yeah.
Like, you should be able to just hand your kid the controller, let them play what they play, but they should be able to understand
You
that
don't need to
this
set
is
it off.
not. Thank you. That is it. Like,
Yeah.
yes, you can like Tommy Vercetti, but at the end of the day, you do know that you cannot pull up to somebody's car and yank them out of it and drive off. Like, you can't.
You don't
That's
you
just
don't
not
get
how life
stars
works.
for that.
You actually go to jail.
Yeah, you're going downtown.
There
you going to the
there is
pokey.
no up, down life. There's no left, right, left. No, 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 no. No, ain't no tank about to just come. Like, ain't no cheat codes.
No,
Ain't no cheat
not at all.
codes. You going to
Not at
jail.
all.
You going to jail.
Now, I will
So,
say, the first person that learned that lesson in this movie is Johnny Cage. He's the loudest one in the
yeah.
room, and he's the first one to learn. And
Yeah.
like Raider, like, what were you doing? You know, like, this is Mortal Kombat, right? Like, we fight.
Yeah.
And he like,
Yeah.
the first of them learned. So the first one was Johnny. The second one was Sonya because she didn't accept the
Mhm.
challenge, and the last one was the most hard headed one. Was Liu Kang at the end of the day?
Liu Kang. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So so
Yep.
um so that's the only meanings we got out of this movie. But I mean, I call it a popcorn movie because that's a movie you can just sit and
Yeah.
eat popcorn and watch and just enjoy just for what it is.
Yeah, it's
Now
entertainment.
very much so.